Hello, welcome. This is Zoe, the Tantalising Stamper. I'm going to show you how to do a double emboss technique today. So that means that you use an embossing folder. I've got exposed brick. You use a brayer and you also use a Versamark pad or another pigment ink pad to emboss with. So to start off with, what I'm going to do is use first of all this piece of old olive that I'm going to put in my folder. I'm going to use the Versamark and my brayer and ink it up. Try and give it a really good go so it's got a good coverage. And then on the side with Stampin' Up embossing folders that you've got the Stampin' Up logo, so that's face down. I'm going to then run this across that side of the embossing folder. Make it nice and inky. I'm not going all the way to the top because I don't. My piece of card is only about 2/3, so I'll just keep going with that. Go a little bit further. There we go. And then this I need to put at the top of my embossing folder because I want it to obviously hit the ink that's there. And I'm going to close it up and then run that through my cut and emboss machine. And because it's a 3D embossing folder, I'm just using my thick base plate, putting the folder in, fold first so that you don't break your fold or crack your fold, and then running that through with the grey embossing plate. And I'm actually going to put that through twice just to make sure that it's put the Versamark onto the paper. There we go. So then I'm going to lift that up and I'm very carefully going to peel this off so that I don't put my fingers all over the Versamark that I've put on it. Then I need my powder tray, which I've put in a safe place. There we go. And I'm going to add some clear embossing powder all over this. So if we shake that about a little bit, get it all over, tap it. And then heat emboss that, so I can put that to one side for a moment because I'm then going to do exactly the same with a piece of Cajun craze. So again, once again, if I just put that safe, ink it up, with my brayer, and then put the card onto here. I'll move it up so it's slightly different. Pop it down and again put it through the machine. So base plate, fold first, and then the grey plate on top. And I just run that through. And again, we're going to put the powder, which I'll just empty out first. The cap back in. Tip one way and the other, and perhaps go for a little bit more on that end. Just tap it gently. And with the green, I'm going to use my heat tool to melt the powder. So I've done the Cajun Craze piece and I've done a little bit of the olive, but I just want to show you because it's really satisfying to see, to watch it. But the important thing is to get your heat tool hot first, and then it will just literally melt it, and you can see it happen. But it really enhances the embossed pattern that you've put onto your piece of card. It gives a nice sort of texture as well. If we just pop that out of the way. Put the lid back on, the spoon back in. And the lid on the Versamark. This is then going to go onto, I'm just going to check the size, I'm going to trim it a little bit, so I've got a little white border around it on my card. I'm working in centimetres, so this is now 10 by 14.3 to fit on a standard card base. That will go on there, and then this piece, before I take it any further, I'm just going to swipe some Cajun Craze ink over it. Just get the powder off. I meant to do this before, which is why I'm now adding it, but obviously I want it to look very much brick wall, so I want some darker areas and lighter areas to show the different sort of bricks. There we go. And then the other thing I'm going to do is just push that down to get off any excess wet ink on the embossing. And then with a gel pen, so I've just got these from a store somewhere, and I'm going to add a little bit of graffiti, so it looks like a wall somewhere. So what else should we draw? Maybe an anchor. Put an arrow. Then we'll let that dry, and the green is drying, and I've got my card base. Then I'm also going to cut, this is from the Match Day bundle, which will be available from the 3rd of March, and it's an online exclusive, which there will be other sets launching then. Perfect for the World Cup this year and any football fans. So with a piece of white card, I'm going to just pop that on there, and that's going to be my net. Put the plates back in my machine. And if you want lots of confetti, you could keep this, tap it all out. But I'm actually going to tap it over the bin. So I've got my goal, and that's going to sit on there. I also want some grass. So I've got this die from the set, and you just pop that along the edge of a piece of card and cut that. And you can make the base of it as deep as you want, but it doesn't actually cut the line at the bottom. So what I'm doing is lining it up along the bottom of my card. Take it through the machine. And you end up with this sort of effect, which you can then just snap that piece off. Then you can cut a straight line at the top, highest piece, and then roll it through again for the next piece of grass. Okay, so it transpires my video didn't take all of it. So once you've done your grass, you can then stick your green embossed piece onto your base card. you can pop your brick wall on top of that, and then the grass that you just cut you can add along here, and your goal you can add. The ball I made with the die, I think I mentioned earlier, with the die and a 1 3/8 circle punch circle, which just pops in behind it. I use Secret C here, and then I've added a sentiment using the Reason to Celebrate stamp set, which is in the Spring Mini 2026. I've also added Goal, which is from the stamp set here. I think I mentioned the little bit of graffiti, and there you go. And you can also, this is one I made earlier, so you can see the difference between, you get some darker patches with adding the ink first before embossing. Here I've cut round the letters to make it look a little bit different, and I've doubled up the grass, the actual blades of grass, and I've changed the sentiment around, so you can do whatever. The one thing I would suggest is that the inking first is probably easier to do, because then you don't have this problem with the embossing, and you've got it all dry because it was all done beforehand. So I hope you like that, and I hope you'll join the Totally Techniques blog hop for double embossing. Thanks for joining me though. Take care. Bye bye.